Through the years we have reviewed tons of games. And a lot of them we have ranked as must-haves. Are there still?
I guess you'll find out.
We, in chronological order, are going through all our must-have board games that we have ranked already as must-haves.
And we're gonna find out, do we still think it's a must-have?
This is the second part, but don't worry, the parts don't matter. You can watch this and then later that one, or don't watch that one, just this one twice. Both works for us. The idea is simple. I'm gonna name a game that you or I have ranked as a must-have, and then we're gonna turn around our whiteboards and say, is it still there? The next game that you ranked as must-have,
okay,
and I ranked as absolutely fantastic,
okay,
is Hadrian's Wall.
You didn't rate it as must-have? Really?
No, I ranked it as fantastic at that point. In Hadrian's Wall, you are building a wall. You have 2 sheets of paper, and then you can pick up a few resources and pay for something, and then fill out that thing that you built. And that will then most likely produce some resources or give you victory points or some special powers. You're just filling these 2 sheets. At the end of each round, pigs are attacking your city, and you hope you build this wall good enough.
Or in the right place.
Or in the right place.
Which I never do. It's like I never do. I'll build it here and here. And then they come in the middle. Okay, I'll build it in the middle and then they come on the sides.
And there is a campaign sheet that you can print out after buying the game where you have different challenges that you need to mark and solve. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, of course.
It's up. It's up. It's absolutely must-have.
If you could have gone back in time and changed one thing, would be a review for that, right?
I was praising Hadrian's Wall. Just the final rating for me was something that I was scared that a lot of people won't like it because it's just, you know, 2 sheets of paper. But every single person I've showed it to really enjoys it as well. And I enjoyed massively. I have played it a tons. After finishing the campaign, the replay value kind of lowers because you feel like you've done it. Played it quite recently. It's still so freaking good. So the next game that you ranked as must-have and I ranked as okay, there's a big discrepancy there. Canopy.
Yeah, Canopy is a 2-player game that you can but shouldn't play with more than 2 people, where you're collecting sets of cards that will score you points.
But how you can build these sets of cards is by picking a pile of cards. You will have 3 of them, and you can just quickly peek at one and either take it or leave it there. But if you leave it, you will have to add extra card on top of it, making that choice juicier to the other player.
I used to love it a lot. Do I still? I don't know.
2, 1.
Still think it's okay?
I still think it's okay. I only remember when you talk about it. Just nothing too special about it. For me.
It's a great game. It's a must-have game. You should definitely give it a go.
Also, it's very eco-friendly. It's all made from papers and recyclable stuff.
Yeah.
So that's also good. A game that was a must-have for me.
Okay, that happens rarely.
And a fantastic game for you. It's King's Dilemma. A voting game where all of you play parts in a King's Council and you all have your own personal goals. You want to satisfy your family's legacy.
For example, you want to invade some lands, pushing for military resolutions of conflicts. And it's a legacy game, which means that things will change from game to game. You will rip things apart, you will put stickers on.
And all of that depending on the end results of the voting phase. You turn around a card which says, hey, do you wanna go to war with this country? And you one by one place down powers on the cards and say yes or no.
And you know you're not going to be able to do it alone, so you go like, come on Giannis, if you add 3, we can do it. Will you add 3? And you go, of course. And then you're like, okay, I'm all in. And then you go, yeah, I'm not gonna add 3. And you're like, no, curse you.
So it's a huge social experiment as well, not just a game. 3, 2, 1. It's a must-have still. It's a snake?
I'm gonna clarify. Yes, generally it's a fantastic game, but I think the ending brought it up for me to fantastic. Just the final showdown, I can tell you what it is, just like the last couple of sessions, just generally the experience can be up and down and it can go from, you know, good to fantastic for me. It's gonna be super dependent on your group. If your group is not into it, you're not gonna like the game.
One game that we both have as must-haves.
Oh.
Long Shot the Dice Game.
Oh.
Long Shot the Dice Game is a betting game.
Yeah.
Where you bet on horses, you can buy them, you can upgrade them or upgrade the jockeys to get the most points out of them.
Money! It's all about the money. True. You roll, you write, and then move some horses.
But based on your choices, you can make sure some horses move quicker, some slower. You can affect how much money you will get or lose if it wins or loses the horse. A really, really fun game for sure.
Yeah. It's like a borderline party game.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's a small arrow.
It's a very small arrow too.
So it's like almost must have?
Must have is something I will go to the store and add to my collection for sure. And this was your copy of the game that we reviewed. And I really enjoyed it. I would love to have it, but also I'm not rushing towards it.
I would also love to have it. I lent it to someone and haven't seen it for like 6 months.
Oh wow.
So I must have it back.
It's still a really, really good game. The biggest issue is that the rules are a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, there are a lot of little rules. Like they're all little, but there's quite a bit of them. It just feels daunting at first.
When the game gets going, it's super fun, but getting to that part is a bit too difficult for what this game is. And I found a really good alternative, which will be in one of our reviews.
Bam, 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 bam.
A game that you have ranked fantastic. I have ranked must-have. Sleeping Gods. Has Jans been sleeping on this game? Sleeping Gods is a massive story game, and you are a crew of a ship, and you can travel wherever you want to on this huge map. So you go there, read the stories, make your choices, upgrade, lose something, get something, fight maybe. But it's a really open world. 3, 2, 1. I mean, it's must-have for me still.
It's very good for me now. I don't think it's fantastic anymore. The biggest clue was you recently played through the sequel of it. This in Sky, and I had it with me for a month, and I needed to find time to play it, and I was not very motivated to do it. The best way to play it is set it up and leave it. And at this point, I don't have such an option, and I immediately think of the hustle. It brings it down for me. I like the combat system a lot. I think it has one of the most unique combat systems I've ever seen, and the stories and the choices and how those choices matter. I mean, you'll do something and then you'll get a card with a keyboard and...
You showed it the wrong way.
No.
After praising it so much, I mean, this is the
I
right
still like the game, it's just that I'm not super excited to play the sequel, so it's a very good game. It's very...
Hands down, one of the best story games.
Definitely, yeah.
So we both rated this as must-have, and it's one of the best two-player games for sure.
I have no idea.
Summoner Wars. You both have a summoner and an army,
and you have wars.
And you want to kill the opponent's summoner. Chess-like board, but all your cards or characters have special powers and each deck is unique. But the idea is very simple. You move around your characters, attack with them, and then try to buy and place new ones.
There's a lot of maneuverability. It's actually like a miniature game with cards. The range matters, how you go around, and you're trying to outmaneuver your opponent, and you play walls, and it's a really unique experience, yet it's fairly quick.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, still a must-have, still like it. We recently got sent a few decks to play with of the new factions, and it's just crazy how different they can be, how different the factions can be. I would play it anytime anyone would suggest, except those times when I wouldn't be able to.
I ranked this game as must-have, you ranked it as fantastic! The game I'm talking about is Wonderland's War. Area control game, but it's also a card drafting game where you pick cards and then get new stuff. What that stuff mostly is chips.
Because whenever you're fighting, you're drawing chips out of your bag that will add to your total strength. And each of those chips also has special abilities that can trigger. But it's a little bit of a push your luck game, because if you draw too many of the bad chips, you bust.
1.
It's still fantastic.
For me, it's top 3 game of all time. I recently played it, still holds up. I love it because it basically has all my favorite mechanisms in one. There's tons of interaction, but it's relatively quick for a massive game.
Yeah, it's around 2 hours, I guess, even with 5 people. I cry when I bust in Wonderland's War. Not when we're playing, I go away afterwards, because it feels like, damn, I lost this one thing and it all hinged upon this one thing. And it's just kind of minor thing that I felt, sad.
You rated this as a must-have.
Okay.
I rated this as can't recommend.
I know what this is.
It's Shores of Tripoli.
It's like the biggest, I think, gap in our rating ever. Shores of Tripoli is a 2-player war game where one player plays the Barbary pirates that are attacking the ships of United States of America. There are different ways for each of the sides to win, and it's a card-driven game. You're gonna be playing cards for actions or for the event on it. The biggest thing why you don't like it is sometimes you'll play a card to create a ship, and then I'll play a card to cancel your ship creation, and you feel like, well, I just did nothing.
Time well spent.
The other thing why you don't like this game is, so you attack my fleet, you roll 20 million dice, and you need to roll at least 1, 5, or 6, and you roll 0, 5, and 6s from those 20 million dice, and you again feel like you did nothing.
3, 2, 1.
Still love it.
Up from must-have? Are you?
Yes, it's super must-have. It's all coming down to skill. So if you have the skill to kind of predict and, you know, remember the other player's deck, you're gonna like this game. If you're like Giannis, which can't roll dice, can't remember what cards there are, you won't be able to recommend this game. Yeah.
It keeps on piling up on you. You can feel like the whole game you just don't progress. You started exactly here or even better off than you finished the game. There's tons of games that use the same thing, just better. AK Watergate. Can't recommend chucking bunch of dice and not getting anything out of it.
The way you play, you mean? Yeah, that's correct. He's right. The way he plays, it's that. The way I play is outmaneuvering your opponent at every turn. It's fine. It's fine. You can't be good at all the games. Give me this one.
So this game, both of us ranked as a must-have, and it's a solo game, purely solo, legacy of you. You're building a canal. Yes, super exciting. And now you can do that is by using your cards and resources very smartly.
A little bit of worker placement, a little bit of hand management, deck building. It's a campaign game. Not a lot of story, but there is some. But it's a Euro game, it's an economical game. And depending on how you do, you will get other cards and decks from scenario to scenario. Oh, and it has a historical flavor about the old times in China.
You can use one card in multiple ways. You can tuck it underneath. You can use it for workers. You can destroy it to get more resources or workers. In the review, I mentioned that it's like clockwork. You have to manage your cards and play them in the right time so the clock keeps moving on.
Has the legacy of you remained?
3, 2, 1, go.
Gone down for me. I still like it. I think it's fantastic. I don't think it's a must-have. It's repetitive, I think. I think the biggest thing for me, the changes from game to game are not as big as I thought they would be.
Either if you win or lose, you get a new card or something that a little bit helps you out or makes the game tougher. So it balances out all the time. Exactly. And these changes are, it's just a card.
I still like the game. I would play it and don't rush into it.
For me, this is similar to Hadrian's Wall. I finished the campaign and after it I felt like, all right, I'm kind of done with it. And now after a while, I love to get back to it from time to time. Finishing the campaign already is a lot of time. Plus also, I do appreciate these clockwork games. With that one card, for me, changed a lot. You ready for the last one?
Yes.
So you ranked this game as a must-have?
It almost feels like every game I ranked is a must-have.
Yeah, and I ranked this as a must-have.
Oh, okay.
Dwellings of Elder Vale. When you take your workers and place on different spaces, and those will give you resources. Then you can build dwellings there and get points because of it, and you also get magical power out of it. Then you can buy different cards and build them in your tableau, which also will be new worker placement places. And then there's battles.
If the space is already taken, you can still go with your worker there, still do the action, but afterwards you punch each other faces, and the winner gets points and the loser gets a sword, which is a resource. It's fair to everyone, but is it still as great as we thought it is?
2, 1, boom.
Same, yeah. I recently played it with my wife with 2. It's not as good with 2 as with 3, 4, or 5. Just I want more face punching, and it's not happening as much there. But it's still a great Euro game. It looks unique.
We usually kind of share our collection. If the game is in one of our collections, then the other one can borrow it anytime and basically feels like it's theirs. But with Dwellings, I bought my own copy, even though you already had one, because it's really a must-have. I want to play this game when I want to play it, not, call you and borrow it.
So Dwellings Elder is still a must-have for both, turns out.
Name games that you have changed your mind upon.
Yeah. Or have you played these and then over time didn't like them anymore, or did like them? And have you played Shores of Tripoli and tell us how much you loved it?